I've been a financial planner for nearly 20 years. So in this video, I want to share 10 of the biggest retirement regrets I constantly hear from people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. The first regret I hear all the time is not spending enough early in retirement. And I think for most of us when we hit retirement, it's that challenge between financial and psychological. I'm free of my work, I have more time, I want to travel, I want to do stuff, but that's at the expense of all this money I've worked really hard to build up for 30, 40, 50 years. And let me tell you, I hear it again and again, it's really tough to spend your own money. It's tough to sell investments, to burn away on travel, food, whatever it is. But when I talk to people in that later stage of life, they say, I wish I had spent more earlier. I think the biggest fear of people entering into retirement is the fear of running out of money. And to me, that's a great fear to have, but it's also a fear that we can overcome, that we can work through with a proper plan. And so when you have a proper retirement plan, it allows you to say, look, I can spend X amount early in retirement, in my go-go phase of retirement, which is retirement date up until about age 75. That's your go-go years. You can travel more, you can spend more, you can do stuff. Your health is hopefully still on your side. Those are the years to enjoy, to spend money, but you don't want to spend too much money that you leave yourself in a very bad position later in life. So a proper conservative plan can say, look, you can go spend X now and still have enough and be okay later in life. Talk to your financial planner, work through some numbers, figure out what you're able to spend now, and then go spend it. Because there's a point that you're unable to spend that money. And again, talking to my older clients, a lot of them wish they had learned this earlier, spent more earlier, because they're unable to now that they're in their 80s and 90s. The second biggest regret is not taking care of your health. And you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, it's not worth much. And so take care of your health. And I know sometimes you have health things come on that you can't control. My wife's a good example of this. My wife works out 5 days a week. She's super healthy. She takes care of herself. She does everything she should be doing, yet she was just recently diagnosed with a life-altering disease that she's gonna have to deal with for the rest of her life. So unhealthy things can fall upon you when it's not your choice. I get that, but I'm talking about actually taking care of yourself, eating well, moving your body, and especially as you get older. When you hit retirement, you need to keep active. And I can see it with some of my clients, with family members, people around me. People that retire and keep moving have a very different lifestyle within 2 to 5 years of retirement than people that sit around and do very little. Your body starts to break down. So my tip for you from my 80s and 90-year-old clients is when you hit retirement, that's the time to ramp up walking and hiking and whatever type of activities and movement you like to do. Keep that going. Don't sit on the couch and watch TV. Don't be stagnant in your movement. Keep that movement going. In fact, you should be moving more as you get older. Regular visits to the doctor, to the dentist, all of this is really important. So don't forget about those aspects. A lot of you lose your health care when you go into retirement. And so it's like, well, I'm going less often because I got to pay for it out of pocket and that kind of stuff. Look, this is a big part of your retirement. Budget it in and make sure you're taking care of yourself. The third regret I hear all the time is that they work too long or too late in life. And for a lot of you, you have to, just to get to retirement. And I think this one maybe ties in with the first one, which is they wish they spent more earlier because they work later, then they held their money tight and now they have too much. And it's like, well, I wish I spent more, maybe retired earlier. But we also do a lot of plans for clients where we tell them, look, you could have retired 2 or 3 years ago. Like, understand your financial picture. As you get up, 5 to 10 years from retirement, make sure you have a clear plan. For a lot of you, you don't want to work longer than you have to. But many of you are because you're just uncertain of how your financial world's going. Maybe you have enough already. Maybe you're sitting there watching this video right now saying, maybe I have enough. Talk to a financial planner. If you need help with that, reach out to our office. We're always able to help and willing to help you. Build out a plan to see, can you retire tomorrow? I'm a big proponent. I mentioned it yesterday to a few people on calls of within about 5 years of retirement, you should have that answer of, if I get laid off tomorrow, do I have to go find another job or am I going to be okay financially? So if you're within 5 years of retirement, you need to have that answer. And that builds into this. Like, are you working too long, too late? Many of you are. Many of you like your job and you purposely are doing that, and that's totally fine. But many of you want to be gone tomorrow and you could have been gone yesterday. The fourth regret we hear all the time is not traveling when you're able to. And you always think, I'll be fine. I'll do that trip next year. I'll do that one in 5 years. Look, eventually time hits. where you cannot travel anymore. So what are you going to do while you can travel? And I encourage all of you, sit down. If you're getting close to retirement or in retirement, sit down with your spouse or partner if you have one, and create that bucket list. I was talking to my aunt and uncle the other day and I said, look, you guys need to create a bucket list. Like, you need to go spend your money and travel and do stuff while you can, because you're in that go-go phase of retirement. You only have about 10 years left of it, and then travel might not be there anymore. So what are those things or places you want to go to? Put that in a list and start mapping it out to figure out when and where can I do this within the calendar, and get them done. Because there's going to be a day when you wake up and you won't be able to get travel insurance or get on a plane or do certain things that get you to where you want to go. So make sure you do it while you're able to. The fifth regret is not creating a social network or having that group of people around you. A lot of us get that through work. When we go to work, we have that social network around us. But when we retire, that network goes away. Maybe you stay in contact with them a little bit, but it's not the same. You're not talking to them every day. So as you gear up for retirement, if you're already in retirement, what is that social group? And there's many ways to fill that social group. It could be a sports, an activity. I saw someone that I grew up with here post the other day, like a crib club. They play crib every week. And so it's, again, it's a group of people getting together to talk about life, to talk about family, talk about whatever you want to talk about. And that's why, whatever your hobby is, find a group around that so you can have common conversation. But what is that social network that you're going to plug into? And maybe you're someone sitting there saying, look, Adam, I'm done the social stuff. Like, I'm retiring to sit in my cabin in the boonies for a few months. Perfect. But just listen to yourself and figure out, when does that social network need to come back? Because most of us need to have some sort of social network. So where are you getting that, and how are you going to create that as you go into retirement? The sixth regret I hear all the time is they ignored financial planning. And that might be they never got it done, period, or they had a plan, but they didn't really follow it and that kind of stuff. As you enter into retirement, I don't know how you entered retirement without a proper plan. Now, I'm a financial planner, so easy for me to say, and you might be saying, yeah, and type in the comments, Adam, you're a planner, you make money off this. Of course you want us to work with you. I get that, but I also see the other side of it. So as a non-financial person, just on the other side of the table, I want to say, I see plans come in and out of our office every single day from our team. And our typical plan, we're saving six figures, like $100,000 to $200,000 at least for clients. Sometimes it's a little bit less, but sometimes it's in the millions. Now I get it, it's an investment up front. Maybe talk to your financial planner, maybe you have a planner that can create a good unbiased plan for you. Talk to them, have them do that for you. If you need help with that, again, reach out to our office. We're always able and willing to help. I'll put more information below, parallelwealth.com/planning. I'll say this, we've done this for thousands of Canadians, and people come in with the financial mindset. Like, they paid for a financial plan, they paid our team a few $1,000s, put a plan together, but everyone comes in with the financial mindset of, okay, I've invested X amount of money into this, am I going to get that back out? And that's how I would be too. If I'm gonna invest thousands of dollars into something, what is my ROI on that? I get that. Every single one of our clients exits the process of, okay, yes, I've made my money back many, many times over. I get that. The financial benefits, definitely there. But what they actually walk out with, and I hear this day in, day out from our clients, is I now have peace of mind. I have a roadmap. I know when I can retire. I know how much money I'm going to have in retirement. I know when to take my government benefits. I know how everything works together. I know how I can help my kids, how my estate is planned out. There's so many other checkmark things. So again, get a good plan that you trust, that you know maps out how you want, and then follow that plan. Again, so many of the older people we talk to, they didn't have a plan, they didn't follow the plan, they didn't trust the plan. Get a plan that's good, that you trust, you know how it works, and it's gonna walk you through retirement in a proper direction. Number 7 is not pursuing your passions. We all have things we wanna do in life, right? I was doing woodworking for a while, now my 4 kids are just keeping me way too busy among the work stuff. I just don't have time for it, but I can promise you it's a passion of mine. I'm going to get back into it. We all have these passions. What are your passions? Again, it's kind of like your bucket list for travel. Create a bucket list for your passions. What do you want to accomplish in retirement? What do you want to pick up? What's a new skill set you want to learn? We all have something. Figure out what that is and start learning it. Number 8 is delaying your estate planning. And this is a very, very costly mistake that a lot of people learn too late in life. So as you ramp up for retirement, part of your estate planning, there's two parts to estate planning, I always say. One part is your will and power of attorney. And that's really, when I die or when I become incapacitated, who gets what is left? Okay, so your will dictate, look, here's who gets my money and the house and all that kind of stuff. The other side of estate planning is what your financial planner should be doing, which is if there's anything left, let's make sure that it's structured in the most tax efficient manner, so that hopefully 100% of whatever is left goes to your loved ones or charity, whoever you want to leave it to, versus CRA. And that estate planning needs to start earlier. The earlier, typically, the better. And when we talk about like an RRSP meltdown, the whole idea of an RRSP meltdown is to take out your registered accounts that if you have it when you die, they will be taxed. So we want to draw those out earlier and in the most tax efficient manner possible. But the idea is to get to life expectancy, mid-80s, and not have that left. You've either spent it, transitioned it into your TFSA account. Maybe you've transitioned money early to your kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews or charities or whoever you want to leave the money to. So again, estate planning isn't just at point of death, it's points along the way. We do a lot of plans where it's, Jim and Sally, you guys, you have a lot of money, you have enough to kind of enjoy retirement, hit your bucket list, do everything you want to do, but there's still a lot left. We can leave it for the kids when you pass away, or we can start helping them now. And here's how much we could give to them, the intervals, how often, all of it. So these are things, this is all part of the estate planning. It's not just at death, it's ongoing. So make sure you sit down with your financial planner and figure out what is my estate plan? A, do I have an updated will and power of attorney, all that? Get that done. But also make sure that that other side of the estate planning is done with your financial planner. And in the month of December, for anyone that signs up for our fee-for-service financial planning, we are actually giving away a free will update through willful.co. So we'll put more information below on that. But if you sign up for a financial plan, we will be giving away a free will. So if you're looking to get your will updated and looking to get a financial plan, sign up with us through December and we'll be making that draw in early January. Good luck in that draw. The ninth biggest regret, and we're dealing with this with clients a lot right now, is they didn't have those tough conversations. And so I have a call here in a few days with a client of ours and their parents. And their parents are in their 80s, early 90s, and they didn't have that tough conversation. And now we're having it. It's a little bit too late, but better late than never. I would say if you're retiring, so if you're between 50 and 70, it's your parents' generation, the 80s and 90-year-olds, that never had that tough conversation. They held their money tight. Money was a private issue. Didn't talk about money at the dinner table. Right? A lot of you watching this video, did you ever talk about money at the dinner table? I know I do with my kids. You probably did with your kids if you have them. But I can guarantee you your parents did not. And so your generation is helping you kind of break this mold, but make sure you have that tough conversation. Like, what is your estate? Especially like second marriages. Like my mom's remarried. Okay, so her husband has a few kids, grandkids. We have, obviously my mom has kids and grandkids. So there's like multiple things. They have joint assets. How does this work when you pass away, Mom? Like what are these tough conversations you need to have? Make sure you're having them either with your parents or with your kids, or probably both at this point. It's way easier and way less expensive to have them now than when you pass away. And you might say, you know what, but when I pass away, I don't have to deal with it. I can let them deal with it. There's still money there. They're fine. Yes, but we all want to pay CRA less money, right? We've paid enough taxes in our life. By avoiding those conversations, you are typically just writing an extra check to the government. Which, hey, if you like writing extra checks to the government, that's fine. Don't have those tough conversations. But for most of you, we want to avoid more money to the government, have those tough conversations. The 10th and final regret, and I'm sure you knew this one was coming, people regret taking CPP early. And the reality is, a lot of you watching this video are going to make the same mistake, and in your 70s, 80s, 90s, you're going to wish that you waited to take it. But that I hear again and again and again. And it is what it is. A lot of you want to take your CPP between 60 and 65 because you can. But for a lot of you, that decision's costing you a lot of money. Now, for some of you, it does make sense. But for most of you, delaying CPP somewhere between 65, closer to 70 typically, will give you the most money in your pocket. We all want more money from the government, right? We want to pay the government less, and we want more from them. But taking CPP early, typically for most of you, will actually allow the government to give you less money. And I get CPP is not directly from the government. in a roundabout way, you know what I mean. So when I talk to my elderly clients, they say, you know what, I wish I had delayed. I'm talking people in their 70s and 80s now, not 90s, not 100. I have a client that's 100 years old. I'm not talking about those really old ones. I'm talking about people in their 70s and 80s that are still living life, healthy, all of that. They said, you know what, I should have waited on my CPP. It would have been nice to have that bigger amount now. I would have been fine earlier. It makes a difference. I was talking to someone the other day and they said, you know what, most people in my industry, people that I work with, part of a big union, almost everyone takes it at 60. And he's trying to justify why they do that, the numbers behind it and this and that. And I explained to him, like, that's an emotional decision. There's no financial reasoning to take that CPP at 60. And I broke it down for him and he walked away with, yes, I'm taking CPP at 70 now, not 60, which is great. And again, I have no skin in that game. Our team doesn't when we build a plan. I don't care when you take your CPP. I care that you know the difference between 60 and 70 because many of you are like our older clients that are taking it early and you don't really understand the financial impact of that. And if you did, you might consider waiting till closer to 70. So as you ramp up for retirement and as you look at the decision on when to take your Canadian pension plan, make sure you run the numbers and not just the numbers of CPP in a silo. It needs to be built in with everything else. If you just look at CPP as a standalone income and when the break-even point is and all that, you're doing it wrong. You need to build your CPP in with your old age security, RSP, TFSA, non-reg, pension, any other income sources that you have. Everything works together. And typically that break-even point on your CPP will change drastically once you actually incorporate it with everything else. If you look at your income sources as silos, you are losing out. You will not benefit from a proper plan. And you will take your CPP likely at the wrong time. So make sure you build your CPP into a plan to figure out when the best timing is for you to take it.